Mama, what if your business could work for you, not just because of you? Today, I'm talking with Crystala, a mama of five who turned her passion for helping other people into growing a brand with distributors, multiple streams of income, and freedom already built in. Hey, mamas, welcome back to Mamas Building Businesses. I am so excited about the conversation we're going to have today. I'm being joined by my dear friend, Crystala Rosemond. Crystala, thanks so much for being here.
And thank you so much for having me.
So, you and I met on social media, and I was really, really drawn to your energy. As you know, you are just an incredible, incredible bright light in an otherwise dark world sometimes. So, tell me a little bit about you and your family.
Yeah. So I am Native American. I'm currently a mom of five beautiful daughters. I birthed three of them. When I started to kind of give you a backstory, to kind of help you understand how I started the business, at the time I was a single mom of my three daughters, and I was praying, I was wondering, how I could work for myself, but also um, basically give the community something. I've always loved helping the community. So I wanted to find a way where I could help the community and also spend more time with my children. To make a long story short, God gifted me something that I call the bath detox. I was gifted it when me and my youngest daughter was extremely sick one day. And because I'm Native American, I have a whole bunch of herbs. I felt like basically the creator had guided me to use certain herbs. I put these herbs in the tub, got in the tub with my baby, and instantly I could feel this sickness coming off of my body. And I got so excited about it. I started giving it away for free, and a lot of people loved it. And because of that, I had to eventually charge because it wasn't free to make. And so that's how, at the time, it was Crystala's Creations and eventually turned into Higher Vibrations. But that's how Higher Vibrations was started. And and yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm from Minnesota. My background is Native American. Right before I was gifted the bath detox, I actually did have a encounter with Christ and gave my life to Jesus. Now, I do want everybody to know I'm not religious, but I do have a relationship with Christ, and I think that that made a huge difference. And I just think that I won't go into all the details of that, but that is a big part of how my life changed drastically and in a very positive light. And that's how I am where I am today.
That's so amazing because I think that, when we have a belief in a higher power, it really just in a way, well, not even in a way, it does. It guides our footsteps. And when you have a business where your sole focus is, how can I impact people or how can I help people? The money follows. And there's just so much joy and purpose in it. So I love that so much. So okay, so bath detox, higher vibrations, and now you have other products that you also offer, right?
Yes, ma'am. So back in 2012, I actually had a cancer scare. Ovarian cancer runs in my family. I had an abnormal pap smear come back. And so when I started the bath detoxes, I was like, well, I wonder what else I could add to the bath. And I remembered that the yoni steams really helped me during that time when I had that scare. It also helped bounce up my hormones. And this is before they got really, really popular. But I was like, well, this might be a great addition to help women that are dealing with, any kind of wound care. And so I added that on. That was the next thing I did. I started praying over people. And I have this one person specifically, I met with her to do a bath detox, to give her some bath detoxes and yoni steams. And I just, I asked her if I could pray with her. And from there, my husband was in the car. I didn't realize as I was praying over her, like the wind was blowing in her face and her hair, but wasn't where I was. Her face was swollen. By the next picture after I was finished, it went down. She was about to go to the hospital after we got done meeting, but ended up not having to go to the emergency room. So I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? I started doing some research. I found out about Reiki, which Reiki is like energy healing. And to kind of break it down, I feel like Christ, he had the gift of, basically allowing the Holy Spirit to work through him. And so God gave me that gift. And so that's kind of how I started with the energy healing. But I will say, after learning and things like that and trial and error, I don't feel like, even though I looked up Reiki and looked into Reiki, I think that everybody has um, this God gift if they allow themselves to be used. And then, so yeah, that's kind of how the energy healing started getting incorporated. And then, but I do let everybody know if I do any kind of like energy healing prayer with people, I do always incorporate Christ. And I respect everybody's beliefs and whatever it is that they, believe in. It's just, I found that that's what helps me get things done in divine perfection. Um, and so foot detoxes was the next thing. I had a friend, she came to me and she was like, I see that you're offering, your bath detoxes and yoni steams. You got a big name for yourself here. I think that this would do really well. I'm not going to lie, I was skeptical. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of the ionic foot detox. But I was like, okay, well, I'll look into it. I did some research because I'm the type of person where I love to research. And I seen some, stories on it, and I was like, I don't believe in it. But my friend, she swore on it. She was like, you got to come with me, come get this foot detox. I went. I had some sinus issues. By the time I was finished, my sinuses were cleared. I could breathe, and I could see all this gunk in the foot tub. And so I was really interested. I could feel the difference. I was like, okay, well, I know this works because I feel different. So I started offering that service here in South Carolina. I've been doing that since 2017, and I actually currently train other women now to um, do the foot detoxes if, that is ever anything that they wanted to do. But yeah, I have a lot of different things that I've kind of picked up along the way because I found that you can have multiple sources of income coming into the same business. It's just not good. And I will say, by the grace of God, because I do what I do and I love helping people, marketing has just worked for me because, like you said, when your purpose is in it, it's nothing you really have to sell. People will do the selling for you, they'll market for you.
Yeah, and it's so amazing because one of the first questions I asked you when we first met was like, what all do you do? Because following you on social media, I mean, you really like you have multiple streams within higher vibrations. You have products, you have services, but you also invest in real estate, you have salon suites. Like you have your hand in a lot of different things. And I think that especially for us moms, sometimes it's hard to wrap our minds around like, well, how the heck does she do it all? I mean, you have five girls.
Yes.
which which is like multiple full-time jobs on its own. And then you have this amazing business and I see you always like just giving back and helping in your community too. So I want to talk about that a little bit, creating those additional streams of income within higher vibrations because you have done something that I think a lot of maybe like home-based businesses don't really go down the avenue of, right? I think there are a lot of people with home-based businesses, and I mean yours has outgrown your home now at this point, but they start with a home-based business where they're offering a product and they in their mind it's sort of like tunnel vision like okay how many of these products can I sell, right? And how can I create the income that I need to create? And you have really set up a system. So you are training women on doing the bath detox, or I'm sorry, the foot detoxes. You also have distributors for your products. So take us through a little bit of like that journey. How did you come to create this network because in a business, it's really like having tentacles that are helping you generate income. And the reality is this, the more income you generate, the more impact you can have.
That's correct. Yeah, so basically, when I first started, the bath detox did so well, and the reason for that is this is pre-COVID. I found out basically how I got it and was gifted it. Me and my daughter got the flu, and any mom who has children hates to see their kids sick. And so with this remedy, it's 30 minutes in the tub after you get out. Most of the time, not everybody, but most of the time after everybody was getting out of the tub, 30 minutes later, their children's fever was gone, nausea was gone. They were no longer sick. They're running around like they weren't sick. Just, 30 minutes to an hour ago. And so what really helped me was I had so many clients. I had so many people who wanted the bath detoxes, and I am just one person. So I started looking for other women who were interested in offering these wonderful products and it really just started with, so where it really started was I had people coming to me and they were telling so many of their friends and family that they were buying bulk packages and like giving them to people. And so I just seen it as like, hey, I have so many people who want these items. It was mainly the bath detox, and the yoni steam as well, but the bath detox was the main thing. But I was like, so many people want this product, and I am just one person, and I have so many people who are telling other people about it. Why not bless these women and allow them to make something off of sharing this wonderful information? And not only that, they're sharing it with other moms that they know, so they don't even have to come in contact with strangers. And so it really grew from just word of mouth. It grew from me needing a team and basically wholesaling the product to other people. So whatever they make on it, I basically discounted it so much where they could make a good profit. Because at the end of the day, for me, it's not about money. The money does come when you're having fun with it. Um, and you're enjoying what you're doing. But yeah, it's just really about sharing the information. And I basically had to. Now, I will say, when I first started the distributors, I wasn't that organized. So I did have to learn, how to structure everything and how to organize everything and come up with like contracts and things like that. So that was something I learned along the way. But yeah, it really just came from word of mouth, moms excited about it, sharing it, and then me providing an opportunity for other women to make some extra income.
That's amazing. I am a firm believer that word of mouth and organic marketing is still the best course of action. And,
Hmm.
a big part of my business the last several years in having a marketing agency was paid advertising.
Yeah.
And we would have so many people come to us and want to do paid ads. And I would have the same conversation with people over and over, which is, paid advertising only amplifies what you're doing naturally.
Right.
Like if you don't have solid word of mouth and you're not creating, whether it's creating content on social media, like I think especially with Facebook ads, people think like, oh, if I have $1,000 to put in Facebook ads, I'm gonna, 3 to 5x my money. And sometimes that does happen, but it really only amplifies what you're already doing. So if you're
Exactly.
doing nothing, so I'm a big believer that word of mouth and organic marketing still wins out. It's the foundation for everything else. Um,
Exactly.
and you had mentioned that you were a little disorganized in the beginning and you had to kind of put a system in place, right, for your distributors. And I think that so many people get caught up in the like worrying about the how that they just don't start.
Yes.
And I think the amazing thing is like you rolled with it. Like it made sense. And so you made the decision and you did it. And the reality is like we can't fix something that doesn't exist.
Right.
So when we
Yeah,
get caught
sometimes you have to
in,
go through the trouble and see where things need to be fixed in order to come up with a system.
yeah, and have you ever like in your business, has there ever been a time where you sort of like stopped yourself because you were overthinking too much? And how do you snap yourself out of those times?
Yeah, so I definitely feel like I did at one point get to a point where I got so big and so busy that I just started worrying about, like, of course, a business is like your child. You literally helped watch it grow. And just like being a new mom, you don't know what to expect. You kind of, things will come and you've got to like, okay, readjust your focus and come back to your whys. But I did eventually get to a point where I got so big, I got so busy, I was just pouring so much into the business where I had to realize, okay, let me stop and I have to come up with a system of when to stop working and spend time with the family. Um, and basically, I feel like I got so caught up in just making sure everything was perfect that it kind of I kind of got distracted on the making sure all my customers and the business was going so successful that I kind of slipped through the cracks on some things that were going on at home. And the whole reason for me doing all these things with my business was for at home. So yeah, I remember one day it was just so much going on. I had all these things and I accomplished so much in life, but I realized that my business was taking a lot of time away from my children. And so I just kind of had to step back and reevaluate some things and realize that, hey, I have all these people that are helping me. Why am I still doing all this extra work and working harder and not smarter? Because the whole goal is to be with my children and my family more.
I really appreciate you sharing that. It like literally is making me tear up a little bit because I've shared this with you and some people listening may know this if they follow me on social media, but I feel like we don't share enough, about that piece. Like, especially if you're in the business space, a lot of people look at like the financial and they kind of base like, oh, well, how successful are they? And I think that comes with a lot of mom guilt if you don't figure out that balance. So, I don't know about you, but for me, I got really caught up in the momentum of my business. Like my business grew faster than I anticipated. And, I think the natural reaction is like, oh, we crushed this goal, so let's make a bigger goal.
Yeah.
Or, oh, this avenue works, so let's go find another one, or let's go duplicate this. And for myself, I got to a place where I looked around. I had a very successful marketing agency. I was working like 14 hours a day, sometimes 16 hours a day. And I had a team of 12 people working for me. And I was like, I don't want any of this. Like,
Hmm.
I want my bills to be paid and I want to spend time with my kids.
Yeah.
And I think that it is very difficult, and that all of that is what inspired this community and this channel because I think unless you're a mom, it's sometimes hard to recognize why somebody would take a step back from business in a world that's so driven by money and success.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with one of my clients who had turned into a friend. It was a guy, he doesn't have any kids, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he definitely just didn't understand where I was coming from. Because the last year of my business, I had business brokers reaching out to me and wanting to purchase. And he was like, why wouldn't you do that? Like, who would throw away that kind of money? And I'm like, you don't understand. The deal only works if I agree to stay on and work for them for 2 years. And I'm not willing to give up 2 years of my life.
Right.
Like if I didn't want to do it for myself, I dang sure don't want to do it for somebody else. And
Yeah.
I think that as moms, we're in such a unique position in that way because Yes, we can go out and we can build amazing businesses and we're capable of so much. But at the end of the day, the core of who we are is to nurture these babies. And so anyways, it made me emotional you saying that because I've been in that exact position and it's almost like you're providing a great life, but you feel guilty because you're not present.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the thing that matters the most. And but the beautiful thing is at least we could recognize that
Hmm.
so we can come back. And that's the biggest learning experience that I have come to find. And to be honest, what brought me to that place was breast cancer. After I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was kind of forced in a place to take care of myself, focus on myself. I feel like it really was a blessing to help me, see, all this stuff that I was, wasting my time and energy on. It was what at the end of the day, um, things are great to have, but your memories and the children, the legacy that we leave behind, and the future generations that we're raising up, that is the most important thing for me. And I'm sure with you, it's like we are building up the future. And so it's great to have something that works, but as long as it's not draining or taking out of your purpose or your why. And it's okay if you get distracted as long as you get back in realignment. And as long as we can see those things, that's what I feel makes a great mom, is knowing that there's things that we can improve on. And I think that that's beautiful that you were able to see that in such a, as everybody else would see, a successful business.
Hmm.
But what really is going to make this so successful is you are helping so many moms. Um and yeah, I think it's beautiful. It really is.
And I think we feel alone sometimes in that space.
Yeah.
Like, I think entrepreneurship can be extremely lonely, and I think motherhood can be extremely lonely.
Yeah.
And um, I think that we live in a society, one that prioritizes finances over time. And, very similar to you, I went through an experience that just made me realize how valuable time is, right? Because that's ultimately what happened when you went through breast cancer. You're like, I've been spending all this time and it's my
Yeah.
most valuable asset. And so now I want to reprioritize where I spend my time. But I do think there's a lot of external pressures that make us feel like we have to choose. And I am of the belief that we don't have to choose, but sometimes we have to get back in alignment. We need to reprioritize and then we need to put a system in place. You still have your business, you just do things much differently since you
Yeah.
went through that. So let's talk about that. Now that you have reprioritized and you realize how important it is to be present and to prioritize your time with your kids.
Mhm.
What does your business look like now?
So now what I'm doing is I still offer wholesale because I have ladies who have been with me for years. I also started, so I ended up getting a physical location. My first physical location was downtown Greenville, and then I ended up getting a space off Wade Hampton. Rent is very, very high. And after trying to juggle keeping a physical location, but also battling, my journey, um, I just knew that higher vibrations was my mission. I couldn't let it go anywhere. Thank goodness God had it, being everything was still flowing while I was able to take my breaks. But I was like, there's got to be a easier way to make more income, but also have this space pay for itself. And so I just started realizing like you can have a physical location where you can offer your products or services, or even if you didn't want to have a physical location, opening up like salon suites. Because what I did, basically my vision was to have a location where women could kind of have like that one-stop shop. They can go get their nails done, they can get their hair done, they can get a yoni steam or a foot detox, they can get, their bath detoxes. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop was like my vision for it. And basically, I got this space and I found that I don't need all these rooms. I don't need all of this extra space that is not going to convenience me. So I started renting it out to other people and I found, okay, well, this is great. Now I have a way to keep my rent paid. If you have a big enough space, you can actually have enough where you can generate extra income so you can invest it in other places in your business or pay yourself with it however you see fit. But basically, I think the biggest thing that I've realized over time is I'm going to find bigger ways to make lump sums of income so I don't have to waste so much time um, being out on the field, I guess is the best way. So yeah, renting out spaces, salon suites is good. I'm also now looking into investing in land. Um, so I can hopefully one day open up like a retreat area. But I do feel like the most important thing that I've realized is just finding smarter ways to let your money work for you. Because I have people who distribute, I actually have some wonderful ladies. They have the opportunity where if they put the bath detoxes in like a store location. Um, they get all the profit for that. They're just buying it wholesale from me. So whatever they make with those businesses, it allows them to make that profit. I'm also still covering my expenses and making something. So it helped me be able to kind of get everywhere I needed to be without just me doing it, just putting people who I trust and who have been interested in working with me to be able to help also with the marketing by speaking with word of mouth and putting these things into different places. So yeah, that and then I will say workshops and courses, that was another really big thing. I had a lot of people who were really interested in what I had to do. And so they started asking if I, offered education on that. So eventually I started doing, workshops and classes. So there's so many different ways. I guess the biggest thing is to figure out number one, your why, and then to find I guess once you figure out what your niche is, just find a way to make it work for you when that time comes. Or I think what you had said earlier, instead of like pre-planning everything out, it's kind of like just go with it. Don't wait for the moment to come to you. Just do it, have fun with it, and I promise the rest follows.
I love that because when you just do it, even if it's a mistake or it's like the wrong path, you are able to make decisions based on experience. Where if you
Right,
don't do it, there's no like baseline there.
right.
The other theme that I really heard in everything that you have said is that um, the goal can be the goal, the one thing can be the one thing, but being open-minded about the path that gets you there.
Yes.
Because I'm sure, like all the things you're doing now and all these different, income streams you have within this business,
Mhm.
you didn't have those at the forefront of your mind when you first started.
Not at all.
But you have been open to the idea of, okay, this is the plan I have right now, but I'm open to the plan changing.
Yes, exactly. Mhm.
So I
You
love
worded
that.
that beautifully.
Thanks, thanks. I think that a lot, I think sometimes we get stuck. We get so stuck like in like disappointment that like this one way that we thought it would work doesn't work.
Right.
And just being open. So, all right, what is one of the biggest lessons you have learned in business so far?
The biggest lessons that I have learned in business is to just, I guess, stay positive is the biggest thing I would say I've learned is beneficial, and I've learned over time, because if you can stay positive no matter how, or how things turn up or what comes your way, you are able to get through anything and achieve anything.
So, right before that, you also mentioned about knowing your why. Do you believe that when you know your why and you're connected to that, it is easier to stay positive? Like, how do you think that impacts sort of dealing with the highs and lows of business?
So I definitely feel like it helps you stay encouraged. It helps you remember, the reason why you're doing everything. And then not only that, it keeps you in a happy place. I feel like it keeps you in alignment. And when you're in alignment, I've learned in business. Oh, and this is another thing that I feel like I've really learned. When you're in alignment, everything just attracts, it comes. You don't have to chase anything, it comes to you. I was blessed with, I'm not sure if you know who the there's a name of it. Well, anyways, there's people that are going to notice you, even if you think they're not watching. They are noticing. I've had Fox News come to me. I've been on Fox News, and I'm not saying this to boast or anything. I never want anybody to think that, but to encourage you, to let you know, like, you can go places that you never would have imagined. Um, the Boss Palace, that's it. I've had the Boss Palace reach out, and they're like really huge on Instagram, and they help other women like starting businesses and things like that. But it's like, you will think, sometimes you think nobody's watching, and that's the thing. Do it like nobody's watching. Continue to do it. Just be you, have fun with it, stay in alignment, and everything will just flourish and come. And don't be too hard on yourself, and don't, I guess the biggest thing too is, if you are having fun and also enjoying what you're doing, it will never feel like work. And of course, we do have to work. Things are always gonna, there's always gonna be that next goal. There's gonna be something that we're gonna have to like work on and things like that. But yeah, just have fun with it, be in alignment, and sorry, I kind of went off there, but
No, no, I love it. And honestly, I think everything you just said is really the perfect message to end on, because I think it's so encouraging to anybody that's listening, and to just remember there are highs and lows in business. But when you tap into your why and you stay in alignment with the things that are most important to you, um, you're going to build something that works for your life. And and I think that's the biggest thing. So, all right, for anybody who's listening, I am going to put the ways that you can connect with Crystala down in the description, as well as a her website, so you can check out her incredible products. And she is going to give us a discount code, so I'll put that in the description as well. And Crystala, thank you so much. Thanks for
thank you.
being here and for shedding your light on this community, because you really truly are such a bright light.
Thank you as well. Thank you for having me.